Thanks, Steve. The main part that I wanted to speak to you all about today was the support program that Vicsport will be rolling out. Specifically the first few months from today, but also over the course of the next 2.5 years. So we've obviously working in partnership with SRV, and we appreciate the support on this project to support all of you here today and the other organisations that were unable to make it. To move towards this mandatory quota and at the end of the day looking at improved governance structures, really well run sporting organisations and a really strong and vibrant sporting industry in Victoria. I think that's probably our main goal as it is, full stop. So what I wanted to cover off today, those of you that were familiar with the child safe standards, the support program that we'll roll out will take a similar sort of structure to that as well. So first off, we'll have a range of information and resources available to you. Our website will continue to populate over the coming months and years. But the first one that you see on your table in front of you is just a brief outline about the program that's coming into play, what it means, what needs to be done, by when, and who can help you, and also what some of your first steps are. So that's sort of your key takeaway from today from a resource point of view. We'll be pulling together information around where and how to find potential board members. So there's been some amazing examples today from our 3 panel speakers. But obviously across our work with a range of organisations, we come across stories and tips and all those sorts of things. So we'll look to compile a lot of that for you, along with information around other organisations that have registers of board-ready, skilled women and men as well. We'll be pulling together some case studies to outline what's been happening and how that's impacted particular organisations, and also again look to update and refresh some of the information we currently have around the benefits of board diversity. So if you're working with your board and they're a group of individuals that really like to work off an evidence base, then we'll try to pull some of those stats and resources together for you to again help alleviate some of that workload. Some of that information we already have from a project we did a few years ago called Are You On Board? But we'll be looking to refresh that data and obviously update it. We will be further utilising the Vicsport board bank. So this is a function that we currently have on our website. All of your organisations are more than welcome to utilise that when you're advertising for board positions. So in terms of spreading the information and outlining what positions are available, you can utilise our board bank as one of hopefully many avenues for advertising positions that you have available. And the Are You On Board resources that I've just mentioned, we have some from a few years ago. Again, it's a video base with a large amount of paper resources, but we'll be developing some additional ones in coming years as well, looking at governance, diversity and the benefits and the stories that go with all of that. So that's the initial outline of the video, the paper-based resources that you can utilise. But I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, that's great, but I still have a lot of questions on how we're going to actually work through this. And that's where our face-to-face support program comes in. So this is a 3-phase approach again, and today's industry forum is the first step of that. So if we're looking at this from essentially an upside-down pyramid point of view, so today's forum is to try to get as much information to as many people as we can in one go about the quotas that are coming in. And then starting from next week and then every 3 weeks following, we'll be having small group workshops. Now, at the end of today, you will receive an email from Vicsport providing an overview of the session with an evaluation form, but also links to register for these 5 workshops. So please check your emails, and if it's not in there, please check your junk email box just in case it's been filtered off. But you can register directly for that. They're limited to 10 people and only 2 people from an organisation is available to attend, purely because we have around 100 organisations that we're trying to support through this project, and we want to try to ensure we get as much reach as possible. Registrations for next week's session, which is the first one, and I'll go through them in a minute, will be as open as of today. Okay. Following on from that, we'll have underlying and ongoing one-on-one support for organisations. So if you need to meet with us, if you have questions, if you want to sit down and really work through something, if you have some documentation you want reviewed and some advice on, then we're here to help you. We definitely don't want you and your organisations to feel like you have to go through this alone. As you can see, there's a lot of organisations in the room that are affected by these incoming changes, and we want to help you all work towards that, like I said, for the betterment of your organisations and the industry as a whole. So then beyond that, beyond 2017, obviously our support won't stop from that point of view. We'll be then looking at some industry-based training opportunities, so opportunities for current board directors to get a refresh and upskill around roles, responsibilities, issues, those sorts of things. Considering what makes an effective board, so looking more broadly at how boards operate and the issues that they face. We're also looking at potentially doing like an industry induction type thing. So lots of boards, when new members come on, an induction process isn't always completed to a really thorough level, and quite often if there's an independent director coming in, that understanding of the sporting industry as a whole isn't as in-depth as it could be. So that's something that we'll consider to do as part of this series of support around that broad industry and sort of policy sector update to provide, again, that level of understanding and information as your board members come onto your board. This isn't specific to your own organisation, so there'll still obviously be onboarding that needs to be done within your organisation, but in terms of the broad sector overview, roles and responsibilities, that sort of thing. And we'll also be looking at the pipeline. So we'll be looking at how we can identify women, prospective board members. Quite often they don't even know what being a board member means, what they have to do, how they can get on a board, that sort of thing. So we're also trying to look at this project from the other point of view of how can we help you find new board members, but how can we ensure that they have an understanding of what their roles and responsibilities are as well. So not just the current, but also prospective ones. Ongoing that support for your organisations, facilitated discussions at your board meetings. If that's required, we can discuss that. Some organisations have undertaken diversity training for their boards and it's been extremely successful. It's been done in a range of different ways, but having that initial conversation and finding out what's really important to our organisation and how can we address it in a way that's best suited to us has also really assisted not just with the makeup of their board as a whole, but the organisation and how they operate. And just that ongoing underlying support as well will be there as part of this program. The discussion today around culture change is a very big one. This underlies a lot of what is happening with the industry at the moment. The move towards diversity and inclusion is very real, and there are some very real benefits that do come from it. So I would strongly encourage you all to start looking at this. As we saw with Matthew's example around constitutional change, that took a long time. The nominations process and getting towards 50-50 still took, I think, a year and a bit. But as Nikki said, they spent 18 months trying to get constitutional change through for it to be knocked on the head. And I think the process overall was about 2.5 years. So it's a long process, and that's why we're trying to provide you support from now to assist you in that transition towards it. So please don't look at 2019 and go, oh, that's still 2 years away, we don't have to worry about it. You need this time to start working towards it, okay? So really from our point of view, please remember that Vicsport's here to help you. No question is a dumb question, so please ring us, email us, bail us up at events and ask us questions. If we can't help you right then and there, we'll go away, try to find the answer and come back and provide it to you. These requirements come into effect as of the 1st of July 2019. Some of this information is in your fact sheet on the table, so please start working towards it now. That's the general phone number and email address, but please feel free to contact me as well if I can be of any assistance. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have in regards to the support that Vicsport's providing, but I thought a brief overview of that today would be really beneficial, so that you know you're not alone.